Getting 5-star ratings is essential to keep you as a top-rated seller on Fiverr. You will get a lot more features when you receive the status of top-rated seller on Fiverr. And the chances to get picked up by Fiverr to be the featured gig will be higher as well. This is why it's important to maintain your reputation and get at least 4-star ratings from each buyer that you've served. As a seller, you would not want to miss out on this module on how to get and maintain 5-star ratings on Fiverr. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let's start with the Fiverr's level, where all the basics are covered. It is important for you to know what the ratings that you need to fulfill are in order to move a level up. You are automatically categorized in the group of new sellers when you get started on Fiverr. Fiverr will lend you a hand when you get started. In this level, if you want to move up a level, you will need to maintain a 4-star rating and above. If you manage to do so, congratulations. You will then be upgraded to a level 1 seller. As a level 1 seller, you will obviously need to work harder in order to get into the Pro League. In this level, you will need to maintain at least 4.5-star ratings or above in order to move a level up. When in the Pro League level, you will need to fulfill 4.7 to 5-star ratings in order to receive the status of a top-rated seller. It is not an easy process if you do not know the correct way of getting 5-star ratings. I'll show you how to do this in this video. Ready for something exciting? There are a few methods to maintain 5-star ratings. If you know the game well enough, you will definitely get the points that I'm going to say. You will not be rated before you complete any delivery, so the first order is the most vital job that will decide the starting rate of your profile. First of all, you must deliver good quality of work. Don't sell something that you aren't satisfied with. It can be pretty tricky to keep a 5-star rating as a seller on Fiverr, and delivering good quality work is a must. Also, don't be afraid to over-deliver. Run your Fiverr gig as if you are running a real business. Be courteous, and remember that they are your customers, not some random people who are merely buying something from you. Last but not least, build up a relationship with your customers. As mentioned, run your Fiverr gig as if you are running a real business. Customer service is a vital task, and also a great lesson to learn. If you can maintain a good relationship with your customers, getting a 5-star feedback from them is not as hard as you think. Let's get into each section now. To be able to deliver good quality work, it is not your decision on the standard of good quality work. It is always about your customers. The key concept here is not how you feel about the work, it's about how they feel about the work. Always contact your customer earlier to deliver them the sample work. This will give you extra time to revise the work and do whatever is requested from them. Most importantly, do not treat this as freelance work. When you start to treat this as just freelance work worth just $5, you will not be able to deliver good quality work. Always think of this as an opportunity to improve your work. If you manage to keep this up, you can keep them as your long-term customers. People will always come back to you for your service because they have had good experience dealing with you. Don't deliver if you are not satisfied with it. This is the key to delivering good quality work. Set your standards to be slightly higher so that if you are satisfied with the end results of your work, your client is definitely going to love it even more. Over-delivering is the easiest way to make a buyer happy. If you've promised a 300-word article, write 350 words. Don't hesitate to over-deliver your work. In fact, you must deliver work that is worth more than what they've paid for. This is a great way to keep them as your long-term customers as well. In the industry of service, you can never run away from difficult customers. Everyone is bound to come across at least one impossible customer every once in a while. Sometimes dealing with difficult customers can burn away our patience, but let me tell you this, over-delivering is the best way to make them happy. You must understand that building up a relationship with them is the only long-term solution to get them to come back to your service. The only way to build up a relationship with your potential customer is through conversation with them. So your profile picture plays a great role to cement your first impression. When you finally have the chance to start a conversation with them, acknowledge them by their name. Always remember to name them first before you move on to your content. People will always recognize your effort on remembering them by name, even though it's just a small part in the conversation. But it certainly creates a huge impact. Moving on to your content, Be wise in the choice of words. This is especially important when you are dealing with difficult customers. Even though you might be getting impatient, you must keep your mind calm when you're dealing with them. Last, be responsive. Even though you may be running this as freelance, you must always check your mailbox. You must be responsive not only in terms of time, but also in terms of their requests. Always ask if you do not understand their request. This will solve the problem on any last-minute changes. In order to maintain yourself as the top seller list on Fiverr, getting a 5-star rating for your profile is essential. You'll get more features from Fiverr when you receive the status of top-rated seller. By this, the chances of getting your gigs featured by Fiverr will become higher as well. This is why you need to be dedicated to your job and do your best in keeping your customers satisfied. Getting a 3-star rating will not be adequate. Get yourself at least a 4-star rating from each buyer you serve. As a seller, you would not want to miss out on this module on how to get and maintain 5-star ratings in Fiverr. Without further ado, let's get into it. As a seller on Fiverr, it is always great to have 5 stars or 100% ratings on your account. Not only does this help you get more sales, it also makes you an authority in your niche. If being a top-rated seller is your goal, it is also important to achieve your full 5-star rating. If you want a 100% positive rating on your account, you will of course need to give 100% of effort in doing your job. That's what every buyer wants, right? If I put you in the same situation, you would want your sellers to do their best too. The definition of a good quality job may vary from time to time because it depends on your customers' expectations. However, it is a must for you to reach your customers' expectations or even exceed it. Who doesn't want a better job done? A basic but important thing to remember is that you need to follow up on the order. It is important so that you can avoid delivering inadequate work. For example, if you're writing content, proofread your grammar and spelling to avoid mistakes. If you're designing a graphic or a logo, avoid putting the wrong color or sketch, which is different from what your buyer wants. Up next is to be punctual when delivering your job. Do not delay. Be determined when completing your responsibilities. Your buyer is paying you for your product, and you are not doing this for free or for charity. In regards to responsibilities, you wouldn't want the same thing to happen to you if you're the buyer. If you're having some problems in your process, reach out to the buyer and politely explain to them that their order would be delivered late. Customers are usually understanding if you provide clear and polite explanations. Sometimes your buyer might want to know more about what you can provide before they get in touch with you. Thus, adding details to your description will make it easier for them to understand, so that they will have a rough idea on what you're capable of before making their decision. Check this example of a description out. If you want a simple yet elegant logo, you can apply here. You'll get the following services, each for $5. Important: discuss the font before placing an order. High quality design from a low quality logo. Vector designing: redesigning basic logos from a previously designed logo. Extra charges on complex designs discussed before placing an order. Editing a logo. Adding or changing text. I do not draw or redraw human faces. If you have any issues or complaints, please do not leave a bad review. Instead, kindly message me so we can work things out. This also prevents misunderstandings between you and your buyer. If a misunderstanding occurs, you must always ask them to refer back to your description as solid proof instead of you debating with your buyer to defend yourself. Misunderstandings may create bad feelings and cause a higher possibility to lower down your rating. One word of advice: be responsible when doing your job. Do not treat this as freelance work. When you have the mentality that $5 jobs are not worth investing time and effort, you will not be able to deliver good quality work. Always think of this as an opportunity to improve your work. If you manage to keep this up, you can keep them as your long-term customers. People will always come back to you for your service if they have had good experiences dealing with you. Do not deliver the work if you're not satisfied with it. This is the key to delivering good quality work. Set your standards slightly higher so that if you are satisfied with the end result of your work, your client is going to love it even more. Another thing is not to go offline for a long period of time without checking your orders. If you're going to be away for some time, for example, going on vacation or attending a wedding, put your gig on vacation mode. But be sure to complete any job at hand or explain to the buyers that you would not be able to complete the job during that period. 5-star ratings will not only make your profile look good and give you the traffic you want, but also separate you from the average seller. After being separated from the average seller, buyers will have a clearer picture on who you are. You must aim to stand out amongst all other sellers in order to make more money. Buyers will be more willing to pay more if you're a 5-star rating seller. Believe me, 5-star ratings are much more trustworthy. There are a few methods to maintain 5-star ratings. If you know the game well enough, you'll understand the points that I'm going to say. Do whatever which is requested of you from the buyer, even if that means spending a few more hours on it. Run your Fiverr gig like you would run a business. Be courteous, and remember that the customer is always your biggest priority. Don't be afraid to over-deliver. Over-delivering doesn't mean that you're doing charity. It is a marketing technique that would make your buyer happy. Let's assume you promised 200 words but delivered 280 words instead. Who wouldn't be happy about a free bonus, right? You must understand that building up a relationship with your buyer is the only long-term solution to get them to come back to your service. The only way to build up a relationship with your potential customer is through the conversation with them. Thus, get to know your buyer well, and you can even refer to them by their first name. In fact, always name them first before you move on to your content. Even though it may seem insignificant, attitude makes a huge impact towards your job and yourself.